Okay, so what I wanted to start with right off the bat is Bible verse, Revelation 9:1. And this has been speculated about for quite some time. It seems like nobody really knows what it means. There's a lot of, ideas about it, but Revelation 9:6 says, "And in those days shall men seek death, and shall not find it, and shall desire to die, and death shall flee from them." So a lot of people have wondered, what is this verse talking about? Like, how can they seek death but not find it? Does that mean that people are going to be trying to commit suicide and they're not able to for some reason? And so that's been speculated a lot about, and it sort of seems like that's what it's saying. Now, of course, this wanting to die, it's coming from the attacks of these locust things that come up out of the bottomless pit that's talked about in Revelation just prior to this verse. And I've done a bunch of videos and stuff on that specifically. What the locusts are. I believe they're fallen cherubim. I don't think that they are actual hybrids of. I don't think that's a return of the Nephilim kind of scenario. I'm not saying that there won't be some kind of return of the Nephilim. I just don't think that's it. I do have videos online that you can check out, and I'll do a future episode specifically on the locusts. That's something that's always been really, really interesting to me. So this seeking death but not being able to find it, what is that all about? Well, recently, there's been this story. This comes from Technology Review, and it has, "This scientist finally found the fountain of youth." This is a mind-blowing story because it really shows you how close we are to this kind of stuff. That technology is being developed today that's available right now that could bring fulfillment to these prophecies. So this is written by Erica Hayasaki. So she's talking about a laboratory that she's in of Juan Carlos Espesua Belmonte, who's a Spaniard who works at the Gene Expression Laboratory at San Diego's Salk Institute for Biological Studies. And apparently this person is showing this reporter something that is hard to believe. So it's a mouse that up here she describes it as the black mouse on the screen sprawls on its belly, back hunched, blinking, but otherwise motionless. Its organs are failing. It appears to be days away from death. It has progeria, a disease of accelerated aging caused by genetic mutation. It's only 3 months old. So then, down up here, it says, he's showing her something hard to believe. It's the same mouse, lively and active, after being treated with an age reversal mixture. It completely rejuvenates, Esposa Belmonte tells her with a mischievous grin. If you look inside, obviously, all the organs, all the cells are younger. Isn't that strange? Now, if there's an anti-aging thing, this is still, as we're going to see in a minute, this is still in its early stages, but this is not the only experiment that is trying to find, a fountain of youth or a cure for death. We're going to look at some more later, but this isn't the only one. But imagine if this gets perfected and people just don't age anymore. Continuing on, I want to scroll down here. The powerful tool that researchers applied to the mouse is called reprogramming. It's a way to reset the body's so-called epigenetic marks, chemical switches in a cell that determine which of its genes are turned on and which are turned off. Erase these marks, and a cell can forget if it was ever a skin or a bone cell and revert to a much more primitive embryonic state. The technique is frequently used by laboratories to manufacture stem cells. But Esposa Belmonte is in a vanguard of scientists who want to reapply reprogramming to whole animals and, if they can control it precisely, to human bodies. So, this is a quote from him. He says, "I think the kid that will be living to 130 years old is already with us. He has already been born, I'm convinced." So it says, each generation brings new possibilities as the epigenome gets reset during reproduction when a new embryo is formed. Cloning takes advantage of reprogramming too. A calf cloned from an adult bull contains the same DNA as the parent, just refreshed. In both cases, the offspring is born without accumulated aberrations that Esposa Belmonte refers to. Now, He says here, he cautions that epigenetic tweaks won't make you live forever, but they might delay your expiration date. As he sees it, there's no reason that we can't extend human lifespan by another 30 to 50 years at least. And then he says that quote that we've already looked at. Because this is still a very young technology, it's kind of horrific in its side effects. So you can look at this paragraph here, and it says, these mice, it seems, have sipped from the fountain of youth, but Espusa Belmonte can rejuvenate aging, dying animals. He can rewind time, but just as quickly as he blows my mind, he puts a damper on the excitement. So potent was the rejuvenating treatment used on the mice that they either died after 3 or 4 days from cell malfunction or developed tumors that killed them later. An overdose of youth, you could call it. So this stuff, it gives them youth for 3 or 4 days, then kills them. So they actually do end up dying faster. But imagine when, and it's because they're being overdosed with this stuff, but imagine when they can perfect this technology. And could we see a fulfillment of the prophecy of Revelation 9? Could it be because of this kinds of things? Now, who will this technology be available to? As we're going to look at in a minute, the mark of the beast, that is so people can buy or sell. You would not have access to this type of thing if you don't have the mark of the beast. With the mark of the beast, whether it's an implant or some genetic thing, it enables, with however the economy works during that time, you need the mark of the beast, whatever exactly that is, in order to participate in the economy. So this type of technology, once it's perfected, it's only going to be available to those who accept the mark of the beast, who participate in the economy. And then what happens? The locusts come, they torture those who accept the mark of the beast. They torture non-believers. And those are the ones who want to die but can't. Death flees from them. See, so it all fits together. The reason that God's chosen, God's people, the reason that people who love God aren't tortured by these things or don't have this problem of not being able to die is because they never accepted the mark of the beast in the first place. They were not able to participate in the economy to get something like this done. So that's how this type of technology can be abused. And we got to keep that in mind because they'll always say when they develop this type of thing, they'll always use humanitarian excuses. Well, it's to cure cancer. It's to cure aging. Why would you want, think of your children. You don't want them to age and die and have all these genetic disorders throughout their life, don't you? They always put this veneer of humanitarianism over what's really going on. This is a piece of technology that could be used by the Antichrist in the very